listeners are as important as our guests. Join in on the conversation. 504-341-8255, the New Orleans Talk Network. Listeners are as important as our guests. Join in on the conversation. 504-3 about your quality of life.
Let everyone know you listen to
the New Orleans Talk Network.
Welcome. Yes, you're watching the New Orleans Talk Network, the Talk What You Know series, and today's Wednesday, the middle of the week, hump day. So welcome to Bob's Variety Hour. As you know, each week we bring you, for the most part, a formatted subject. And today, even though it doesn't look like I'm really excited, I am. And that's because Uncle Bob's got a serious head cold. You know, we've been going up and down like a roller coaster here with our weather. And sure enough, it had to set in. So forgive this sound if it really sounds peculiar. And I hope our guests will do so as well. Do want to let you know that this is Chef's Chat International Wednesday, the third Wednesday of each month, and we are delighted to welcome on board a chef from Prague in the Czech Republic. And let me tell you before we give his name, Mike's put up a beautiful, look at that beautiful view of Prague. For those who are not familiar with Prague, Prague is 5,141 miles from New Orleans, so you won't be driving there anytime soon. It also has a population of 1.3 million, quite a bit larger than New Orleans since our hurricane. But it's a wonderful city. The Czech Republic, in case you're not familiar, is really one division of what we used to know for us old folks as Czechoslovakia. They took one segment, made it Czech Republic, the other is Slovenia. And Prague is the capital, I believe. Hopefully, I guess will correct me. And I know it's the largest city in Czech and almost direct center, which makes it nice for placement. So without further ado, we want to welcome our guest, Chef Onik Minasian from Prague. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Well, good afternoon here and good morning in New Orleans.
Well, we really appreciate that. As we were discussing, folks, Chef he really didn't get up just for us because he's approximately 6 or 7 hours ahead of us. So it's a nice day already for him. He's already been busy. Today is his day off, so he's kind enough to really give us the time, whereas normally he would be in the throes of his restaurant duties. Let's, before we get into details about yourself, Chef, let's take a few pictures. Well, why don't you tell us first about yourself, and then I want to show some of the pictures of the fabulous restaurant you work at. How long have you been in Prague now?
I've been in Prague since 2011.
I got it.
2011, I moved to Prague.
I got it. And
over 7 years.
So tell us a little bit about yourself so the folks will feel at home.
Well, I started as in the cooking industry like 15 years old.
Okay.
I was my best friend's dad said, "You want to come and do some washing up, get some carrots, and this sort of thing?" I said, "Okay." And I got into the cooking from there, and so I started.
And was this in England, where you're from originally?
Yeah, in Kent.
I got it.
And he asked me if I wanted to do an apprenticeship. So I said, "Oh, okay." So from there, I went to college for 2 years. And so far, I worked at a few hotels from then, and then decided to move to Prague. So it went really fast, like doing that. So it was a very fast experience.
Excellent. And did the job, I don't think I heard you, did the job bring you to Prague, or did you come to Prague for some other reason?
Well, the job, I worked in a gastropub called Griffin in Fletching, where I met a Czech lady there. So
that happens, especially in gastropubs, you know?
Yeah. But it's a really beautiful country. Everyone that comes in it loves Prague. And so it's not the worst place to live. So.
Oh yes. Well, we want to. I love the name, and we're going to start showing the pictures of the building your restaurant's in and some of the
Yeah.
interior shots. I love your restaurant's named Ginger and Fred, or Fred and Ginger. Which one is it?
Ginger and Fred.
And of course, hopefully you Americans with some age on you would understand that's from the famous, magnificent dancing movie stars of Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, let's take a look. You are located, your restaurant is, and you said it's about 75 seats, located in one of the most architecturally beautiful buildings. Now, some people might disagree, but it's just amazing to me. First, as you see, you have like a tower or a turret, which is not unusual, but full of glass. But look to the left of your picture. There's like almost the same thing as if it had been punched in the stomach, in the gut. It's like folded in. It's just remarkable. Absolutely.
Yeah.
How old is this building about, Chef?
Well, I'm not very good at the history behind it, but I know it's been around for a very long time. They call it over here the Darts House.
I got it. Okay, now let's take a look at some of the beautiful. We've got a couple of beautiful shots on the interior. There's a black and white one. Look how nice, very spacious. Again, lots of those windows that you saw on the outside. What floor are you on in the building?
We are on the 7th floor.
Oh, so it must be a lovely view.
Yeah, amazing when you're dining.
And let's see that color picture, Mike, because the color picture is just beautiful. Oh, look how pretty. That's a pretty one too. But I was talking about that. There's another one maybe in the evening with windows. Do we still have that one? Really pretty. Very light and airy during the day, especially with those windows. No? I thought we had one more, but anyway, you get the idea. It's a beautiful place, nice size, and after you see what we're going to be showing you folks, you're going to be wishing that, and maybe you'll have that opportunity to travel. Because again, I have to say, when you speak to New Orleanians, Prague is not their number one destination for vacation.
Yeah.
I apologize for that. But I'm saying for those who are doing Europe or doing even Russia or Germany, some of that, they need to make the effort to go for a couple of days over there, and of course certainly to try your restaurant, because I think it's just a beautiful addition. All right, now I think I explained to you, Chef, we take a break. Here's our first break. We try and do one as early as possible so we're not interrupting the flow of the discussion, and then we'll do one more about halfway through the show. Folks, when we come back, we're going to do a limited version of our raffle, and then we'll get into which chef. Some of these, I'm telling these plates are going to just knock your socks off. So stay with interest, and we'll see you right after these commercials. So check back real quick.
The New Orleans Talk Network, now on your mobile device, on your computer, in your ear, and interactive. It's new, it's innovative, and it's on your mobile device. Android, iPhone, iPad, and on your computer. Take us wherever you go, because we're interactive. 504-341-TALK. That's 504-341-8255.
Hi, I'm Prophetess Charlene Duforce.
And I'm Bishop Carol Duforce.
We're Living Witnesses Ministries, and we come to you live every Wednesday morning
On the New Orleans Talk Network from 11 a.m. to 12 noon Central Time. And it's called Living by the Word Daily.
So we ask you to tune in and listen to us as we begin to teach the Word of God according to today's events. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you.
Hello and congratulations. You have arrived at the second half. I'm your host, Cinder Coleman Miller. Connect with us every Thursday at 10 o'clock a.m. on the New Orleans Talk Network as we discuss issues pertaining to the most exciting and prolific generation of our times, the baby boomers. So for information, resources, and booming entertainment, meet us at the second half, brought to you by the Boomers Lifestyle Network.
I'm living my life like it's golden, living my life like it's golden, living my life like it's
The New Orleans Talk Network.
Welcome back again, folks. We're here at Bob's Variety Hour, featuring the third Wednesday of each month, talking to chefs from around the world. And we are pleased to have just a wonderful chef this morning, and we're just about to, before we reintroduce him, we have a little chore here. It's not chore, it's a fun chore, we hope. Is every week we give away a little prize to anyone who's registered in our raffle. And again, we didn't get a winner last week. The winner didn't claim his or her prize, so we're carrying it through. And that's for anyone who's maybe likes Japanese food or any kind of Asian food. Sake is one of the traditional drinks. And nowadays we do a lot of stuff. You can do sushi at home. So we're giving away a little sake set with the individual pourer and a couple of glasses decorated with the Japanese sushi, not sushi, but female, beautiful old-time stitch. So we're going to let it run one more time. Next week we will definitely give it away, and of course we'll introduce or debut our new prize. Remember, the only thing you have to do is register just one time, since the show's been on over a year, and you can stay in that whatever. You go to either the website on NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com and register there, or more easy, not easier, what a silly word, Bob at rreview.com. Stands for Restaurant Review. Bob at rreview, don't forget .com. All you need to include is 3 pieces of information, and that is your first name. We don't ask for full name. That's wrong. We do ask for your full name. That's right. First name and last name. Your email address, because we contact you by email if you want the prize and to make arrangements for delivery. And third, your zip code, so we know what area you come from. And what's good is we don't have all these discriminatory rules where employees of the station can't win, or get all of our guests just by appearing and they automatically enroll. We've had one chef already win something. So what's great about it, Chef Onik Minasian's name will be put in today's raffle, and it'll stay in there ad infinitum. So maybe one day we'll be sending him a little trinket or something even more important. Because, don't forget, Jazz Fest is coming up the end of April and May, and I'm hoping we get a couple of tickets to give away like we did last year, which was a big, big hit. Okay, we're back now with Chef Onik Minasian, and I know that's probably not as hard, but maybe as hard as my name, Bob Bockelman, Onik Minasian, but it flows beautifully, and he's just so well spoken. But even better is that he speaks through his dishes, through his plates. And Onik, we're going to go ahead and start with you because we really want to wow this audience. Let's put that first picture up, and then I'm going to ask you to explain each of the dishes so that no better than hearing it come from you. Can we put up that first picture, Mike? And there you go. Now, to me, first thing I saw locally here was Mardi Gras, which is something you probably don't know about. Just happened a month ago because we have a lot of what we call floats that are highly decorated, beautiful colors depicting a theme. Yeah. And that's exactly what this looks like, the miniature floats in just magnificent colors. Tell us about this, please, Chef.
Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you for everyone tuning in, the support for Bob and New Orleans Talk Network. And thank you for having me on the show, Bob.
Well, that's thank you for that. We didn't need that thank you. It's our thank yous to you. But let's take a look at our we'll talk a little bit at the end and spend a little bit more home time. Let's get to those photos because that's what the people are looking for, the dishes. So can we... Now this is a mixture of goat cheese. What else is in these beautiful concoctions here?
Well, in a chef mind, this is a goat cheese panna cotta.
Panna cotta, right?
Rolled in pistachio with salt baked beetroot sponge, and orange jelly.
Wow! Now, is this served as an appetizer or a dessert? That's kind of strange, It's hard to determine.
It's a starter, as you call it, appetizer.
We put
something very light.
Yeah, we put it in the first place, assuming it was a starter or an appetizer. But because of all the intrinsic things, I could also see it coming at the end of the meal. But it is actually beautiful, beautiful. So, and of course, as you can see, that's more than enough for one person. So it's certainly a share me appetizer with whomever you're with, if you have someone with you to share with. But absolutely beautiful. Now let's go on to the individual dishes. And folks, be prepared to watch. Here we go. What do we have here, sir?
Well, this is marinated ham in gravlax with celeriac and apple remoulade with like I don't know how you call it over there. It's like an oat crumble with apple and beetroot puree.
For those who would not know what gravlax means, could you please explain a little bit about it? Because not everyone of our audience, knows all the terminology.
It's a salmon marinated in sugar, salt, spices.
Beautiful.
And it's like it's cured salmon, cured by the salt and the sugar and alcohol, a little bit of alcohol.
Little alcohol never goes bad in food.
Yeah. This one is absinthe.
Oh, now you're talking New Orleans.
Yeah.
I don't even, I think, I hate to say it, but it's either founded in France or New Orleans, absinthe, I believe.
Yeah.
But it's got a wonderful history, kind of a colorful history, and a lot of mysticism with it. So what a wonderful choice. I think that's great. That is really great. Okay, let's move on to another one. We're getting to, these are the basic white plates, but they're really, this is a rum steak, is that right?
Yeah, it's actually U.S. rum steak, Bob.
Ah, using our stuff, huh?
U.S. rum steak.
I got it. Good. Well, I know there's a difference in the cut, even though, we don't, when we say rum steak, we just think about U.S. and that's it. But when we're overseas, etc., we have to kind of know where the origin of the meat is to know we're talking about the same part of the animal. All right, tell us what you've done here, because again, it's very, very colorful.
Well, this is a U.S. rum steak. We got like a grill at work. We just grilled that on the grill. It's with abondance, which is from France, which is in the mac and cheese.
Okay.
If you understand what I'm saying.
All right.
And it's with parsley puree, truffles, and like the baby onions that caramelized.
And notice, folks, you're starting to see some of his, not only the delicious ingredients, but the plating technique. This is very simple, but notice the little dots, little periods flanking one of the curves. It's just really lovely. And
you mess one of them up, you have to start again.
Okay, but now, folks, be ready. This is what we're talking about. We talk about color. This next one in plating. I'm not going to say what it is. I'll let Chef look at. Just for a minute, folks, focus on that plate and that magnificent color coming, the blues and the yellows. The colors are just, and then of course the decoration again. Please tell us, this is some form of pork, is that correct?
Yeah, this is like a classic recipe. It's the pork rillette. I like to mix to it. It's it's pork rillette with spices like curry, curry powder. And it's like pan-sear it, so it's like crispy pork. Ah,
okay. Well, we have pork rillades here, but I have to admit we have never seen them that pretty as what you presented here.
Thank you.
I'm hoping to taste. I can't tell you. I know what it tastes like here, and it's very good, but not being able to taste your samples, but the visuals alone, which should make it worthwhile to taste. I'm sure the taste excels. Anything else you want to say about that dish? Because I'm just wild.
Well, because it's spicy, I wanted like a salad with it. This is like a roasted peanut, curry mayonnaise, and crispy cabbage.
Yeah. So, well, down here we like very, very much seasoned, whether it's spice and or heat. We like both. Yeah. So this would also appeal to our taste buds very well, very well.
Well, the color represents like start of spring for me, because spring is like here. So.
Yeah, we here in New Orleans we don't really have. We do have spring, but it just flows immediately into summer. It gets so hot so quick, so we don't have a tremendous spring. We just have flowering stuff all of a sudden. You follow? But you don't know whether you're still in spring or you're in summer here. So there's a difference there. Yeah. But certainly after your type of winter, seeing something like this would certainly be, because I think is it today or tomorrow is the first in the U.S. is the first day of spring, March 22nd, so we're very close.
Tomorrow is the first day of spring.
Well, what better dish than to serve something like that to welcome spring? That is just magnificent. So let's move on to another one that's just fantastic. And, of course, I lost my place. Why don't you, we got it up there? Why don't you, now here's to me, this gave a lot of masculine, and I guess I'm being sexist, but a lot of masculine tones. Not only the plate, but also the the layering of the meat. It's not that
Yeah.
not that fanciful one we just saw. Tell us a little bit about this, Onik.
Well, this one was just a little bit of fun because I made wild rice crackers, and I was thinking I could stuff it with something.
Ah.
So I made like a seaweed lobster salad with pineapple and lime gel, with just a shellfish piece underneath. It's like a soup, but it's not, and you can dip it in and just play with it.
So these are crackers that are stuffed. Is that what
It's wild rice crackers. It's easy, quite easy to make.
Right. And then lobster salad. Not salad. Lobster. Is that right?
Lobster, pineapple, and lime.
Well, again, I would never. I guess you're adding lobster salad. It's not featured as a salad, but because it doesn't really. Excuse me, folks. That's my cold. It doesn't, to us in America, it wouldn't appear to be a salad.
Yeah.
It looks much more like an entree, but very simple, sophisticated, and very, very attractive. So it really looks good.
Packed with flavors, very good flavors in there.
Now the next one is right up my alley because I love pastrami and I love duck. Here in Louisiana, we do a lot of that. But we also do with something you might not be familiar with. We do a rabbit pastrami as well, but and other animals. But the duck pastrami is by far my favorite. And you've just got a beautiful presentation. Talk about it here.
Well, this one, we make our own pastrami at work. We cook it in the brine and we smoke it. So this is a duck pastrami with maple glazed foie gras, orange, and fennel puree.
Well, of course, anything with foie gras can't be bad. So,
yeah.
But to pair it with duck pastrami, just to me, really elevates this dish because, you know.
And the brioche, there's brioche under there as well.
And adding the maple glaze just gives it just a great, great concept, I think. So it keeps it that woodsy, but also that very, very unusual flavor. Very, very nice.
The smoky and the sweet together.
Right.
It works very well.
You got both things going for you, which is important. So, again, a beautifully plated dish. Now, I think we're going to do at least one more. And this is something we don't get a lot of, we get a lot of seafood. We don't get a lot of sea bass. But it's a great fish. It's just something that's not as prevalent here. We usually probably, I think, have to import it. So tell us, this looks like a great, again, put against that blue plate, that vibrant yellow just glows and glows. So tell us about this.
Well, this is actually a new menu. Me and my head chef came up with it. It was his idea with the courgette. It was like the scales.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It's a sea bass and it's sous vide. It's sous vide.
Now, do you have a...
People don't know what sous vide out there means. When you cook in like a water bath at certain temperatures.
Now, do you all get a lot of... do you have a lot of fishing there in Prague or no? I don't think...
Well, it's very hard to get like fresh seafood and this stuff because there's no ocean here.
That's what I figured. I said it's got to be difficult for you all. We have a natural source with the Gulf of Mexico. Yeah. So you have to import most of your fish, is that right?
But we're very good at like trout, sturgeon, salmon, and crayfish. These sort of small fishes you can get very, very.
Well, that's good. You're able to get that kind of variety. Which country would actually, or what part of your country would be supplying most of your fish?
France, mainly France.
Okay. Well, that's great. Well, sea bass, like I say, never look so pretty because we see it, we just see it mainly grilled and stuff like that. Nothing really fancy like this. Really neat. Okay, now next one is another panna cotta with coffee, I believe. Is that right? Is it a dessert? Let's see what this.
Yeah, well, this is coffee panna cotta. Go and check my people out at Flower Power Coffee Co. They supply me with the coffee. For this, it's with white chocolate paraffin mousse and pistachio sponge.
Okay, all right. Now but to me that sounds dessert. Is that served as a dessert? Huh? Yes.
It's a dessert. It's very light, very smooth.
But the sweetness of it to me indicates it should be dessert. You've got your cup of coffee, your coffee right inside your dessert, so it's self-contained.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like it a lot. I like it a lot.
And you got the tarragon to give that like anisette sort of flavor to go with white chocolate.
Very good. All right. Now we're going to do one more, and then we have to take our second break. And this one is going to appeal to a lot of people because this is New Orleans all the way. Now the only difference is, I guess you pronounce, excuse me, the seafood crayfish. Could you spell it?
Yeah, here crayfish. And I think over there crawfish.
Here it's spelled with a W instead of a Y, and it's pronounced crawfish. But you have the other combination, which New Orleans is known for, invented, and that's beignets. So you're doing a combination of two of our favorite foods, our breakfast or our dessert out on a beignet, and taking our, right now we're just at the beginning of our crawfish season. It starts in February, March, goes for 2 more months. Getting very, very plentiful. Now we boil them. We do everything with crawfish, etouffees, bisque, etc. But I haven't seen one where they made a beignet. So this is the first for us. So tell us how you made these beautiful crawfish beignets. Look at that, folks.
Where do I start with it? Well, this is crayfish beignets. I tried to do it like a twist, like some people do it like plain. I made a rocket pesto with grapefruit, pickled fennel salad, and around the gold syrup is like grapefruit production, like a syrup to go with it.
The yellow looks almost like a broth. The golden color around the perimeter. What is that again?
It's actually grapefruit juice.
Oh, that's the grapefruit juice. No wonder.
And I made like a syrup with the dressing sort of to go with the beignet.
I forgot always. I'm so used to seeing grapefruit as a pink color that it didn't register the gold. But it's just a beautiful. I mean, it frames the beignets while being contained in the plate and just gives it just a magnificent coordinated color. Yeah. Just really, really nice. Thank you. I think you've done a great job. And I tell you, well, we can't ask you for the recipe, but I'd love to see if we could get some of our chefs locally down here to give it a try. Because
there's always recipes. Yeah.
I have to ask one thing, and hopefully you got the right answer on this. You don't get your crawfish from China, I hope.
No.
But
no Chinese here.
Good. Thank you for that, because we have a big, war in U.S. against the Chinese imported crawfish compared to the U.S. stock, Now, are they grown though anywhere? I mean, harvested anywhere in your area?
Farms, like crayfish farm.
So you have some farms?
Yeah.
Good, very good. Well, and I assume you use them in other dishes, right?
Yeah. Actually, where I used to go fishing in England, it used to be an old crayfish farm there as well. So they get quite.
So has your diners been receptive to crayfish or crawfish, as we call them?
Yeah, people like it. We used to have a soup with crayfish. The last soup we had was with crayfish. That was very popular.
It's another one of those things where once you get them to taste it, they usually fall in love with it.
Yeah.
A lot of people are afraid when they see it, and they say, "Oh, that lives in dirt and mud and it's disgusting." We have all kind of negatives about it, especially for people.
That's what gives it the flavor, I think.
I got it. Well, anyway, you've really done us justice. So we're bringing that 5,141 miles a lot closer to the audience today by showing this particular dish.
I hope everyone
Well, before I ruin the whole show with all this coughing, we're going to take our break a little early so I can swig some water here, and hopefully and take a lozenge, and hopefully that'll help me get through the rest of the show so I won't be a disgrace. So stay with us, Chef. Folks, stay with us. Excuse my coughing, but come back. As you can see, these are phenomenal dishes. And not only that, great ideas how they're using some of what we think are homegrown stuff, like crawfish and beignets, and are able to replicate, or not replicate, but create their own measurements in other countries this far away. So check us back on the other side of the commercials, and we'll finish up the last half of the dishes. See you in a little bit.
welcome.
Are you looking for a home to live stream your next event? Give us a call here at Bethesda Community Event Center, the only place on the Gulf Coast that can host and broadcast live your wedding reception, your baby shower, business seminar, and any other special event. Give us a call at 504-708-9454 for more details.
Listen up. Your customers, our listeners, could be hearing about your business right now. Yeah, right now. Don't miss out on the opportunity to advertise with NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. Call our business department today at 504-475-4793 to hear about our great rates. NewOrleansTalkNetwork.com. We provide the people, you provide the business.
Our listeners are as important as our guests. Join in on the conversation. 504-341-8255, the New Orleans Talk Network.
Let everyone know you listen to
The New Orleans Talk Network.
Yes, good morning again. This is the New Orleans Talk Network, and it's the third Wednesday of the month. You're on Bob's Variety Hour with a host who's an embarrassment here with this cough. I've got a little lozenge in my mouth. Hopefully it won't disturb you too much, but got to stop that coughing while we're talking. Anyway, we are really pleased again, folks, to bring you a chef from faraway lands, as we said, from Prague in the Czech Republic. Formerly one half of the Czechoslovakia for those old folks like myself. We have this super progressive chef with us who is taking a lot of the well-known items that we're familiar with and just coming up with not only unusual preparations, just colorful, really art masterpieces on the plates. And that's why we've been in negotiations with Chef since last year to try and get him on board. Unfortunately, he had such a tremendous, fortunately for himself, not for us, tremendous workload during the holidays, as would be expected, because his restaurant has got to be the top, if not the closest to the top in Prague. So I'm sure the demand on him on a daily basis is even magnified during the holiday basis. But we're so pleased that when we recontacted him, he's able to give us, and on his spare time, that's nice, because most chefs like to try and enjoy themselves because they're so wedded to the restaurant and either take a nap or go somewhere with their family or themselves. So we appreciate him giving up this hour, really longer with prep, and bringing to you all this great food. As we mentioned, we haven't mentioned at the end of the day that we will be putting up his Facebook and his Instagram links, so you can see a heck of a lot more, because he's got a tremendous portfolio of dishes on there. And that's how I first saw him, was picking and choosing dishes that interested me, to force me to contact him to see if he would consider being on our show. So if you want a visual delight, if you ever have some time, check him out, and we're going to go over those details again, give particulars right at the end of the show. We've got 3 more dishes. The next one is my favorite fowl or poultry is turkey. Now, a lot of people only eat it for the holidays because it's traditional, and they seem to always complain because it's never moist enough. It's always dry. I can eat turkey dry, moist, what they call it. It is definitely my favorite poultry over chicken anytime, which most people can't comprehend. So he's, again, taking turkey and formed into a roulade, which, again, in New Orleans used to be very, very common. It's not anymore because we don't have that many French restaurants, but also it is making a little bit of a resurgence. Every once in a while you'll see a roulade at one of the restaurants locally. Tell us about yours, though. It's just, again, a beautiful plating.
Well, I just want to say this is a weekly challenge we do on Instagram. Me and a few guys, friendly banter. It's called hashtag Poultry Tuesday. So go and check those guys out.
Okay.
This is turkey roulade with spinach and oyster mushroom, spinach puree, and oyster mushrooms are actually tossed in balsamic vinegar to give it that like acidity with sweet potato spätzle.
Now, what type of, I might have missed it, what type of mushrooms are you using, sir?
Oyster
mushrooms. Ah, very good, very good. Very nice.
There's a lot of them over. You can buy them anywhere. Supermarket, market.
Again, you got to see what's available to you, but again, it's a good dish, especially to add to something as opposed to just creating a dish full of mushrooms. But as an addition, I think it's a very good choice. Okay.
These sort of dishes I make at home as well. This is like a home cooking thing I do.
Well, it certainly doesn't look that way on the plate, sir. I mean, this would pass at some of our finer restaurants, so it would not be something that, that would be featured as a home meal or a sole meal. It's much too beautifully plated and complex in its nature. So,
it's very good when you're at home cooking. It's very good time to experiment without the stress.
Right. Now, we only have one more, and then we'll chit-chat again. This one is going to knock your socks off, folks. If that's correct, we're ready. Color-wise, once again, just got this beautiful. Let's see, Mike, you got this last one coming up? And this is, again, using crawfish tails or crayfish tails, but with the spring peas, which are just beautiful. Look at this magnificent. I mean, this almost looks like a centerpiece or something, you do for some particular festival at a home or a restaurant. Absolutely beautiful, just stunning. So tell us a little bit more details about what you put together here.
Well, this is a classic, which I made a different version. This is pea bavaroise. I don't know if people know what bavaroise is.
Why don't we tell the folks a little bit more?
Whites, cream, gelatin. Some people use agar.
Right.
And just like I just tried to represent like a spring. Spring is it. It's with pickled vegetables and creme fraiche and crayfish.
Again, just beautiful. I mean, and to arrange it as a halo around the centerpiece, it's just so creative and so simple in purity, but so complex in ingredients. I think
well, every bite of the bavaroise straight outside of the veg.
Now, is this served warm or is this served chilled?
It's like cold. But the crayfish are cooked in a garlic mustard butter.
Yeah, we have to have garlic is great. that is, I mean, again, folks, I think hopefully you've agreed with me that if you've paid attention to at least to some of these dishes, you see not only the quality of the ingredients and the complexity of the preparation, but the magnificence of the color, the pop, the vibrancy, and not only the dishware, the plateware, but what goes on it. So the contrast or the coordination, depending on what he's doing, it's just first rate. And I know if he'd be back in his home country, he'd be just as lauded, but probably more so where he is now, because I would be surprised, and I guess I'm being very naive, to say that there's a lot of chefs of equal caliber in Prague itself or in the rest of the Czech Republic that can pull off some of what we see. I'm sorry?
Prague is very, like the last 4 to 5 years, the gastronomy is leveled up a lot. Okay.
Well, I mean, it's amazing to me. Like I said, we're very naive over here about some of those countries because of their past history, you know, as you know.
I understand.
And oh, really? Well, we have that too. But you know, so we just don't see them as being advanced, and it's a shame because some of the countries have, like East Germany, have really far surpassed some of our United States because you know, they're not only monetarily much more sound than we are, but they just have a raft of crafts, artisans, you know, crafts that from architects, and even back when they were in the throes of a maniacal dictatorship, they had phenomenal architects. The ones who were carrying out his vision to replicate a new city based on iconic and classical forms was just magnificent. So they've always been in the forefront, and it's not just been, we attribute it to Germany or that part of Germany, but it really is widespread because just like France is known for its food and its art, those same crafts, using that term loosely or broadly, applies to many of the areas that we are just not familiar with. So I'm going to ask you to, if you have a chance, to somehow put me in touch with the Prague Tourist Commission, if they have such of them, because I really think they need to do a better job of, and I don't know how much advertising or promotion they do of your country, and specifically this kind of their dining in America. I know down here there's zilch, okay?
Yeah.
But we have formed sister cities with places in Japan, other countries. Why not, even if we can't do a sister city, at least do promotion for this kind of art? And I'm hoping this show will be representative of the quality and the capability of your chefs and your cuisine, as well as the country's reflection. Because, you know, you wouldn't be there this long if the country was not responsive to your creative direction. And I think that's a testimony right there, because they're so used to, in the old days, of not having that selection or that advancement, that availability and variety of stuff, that it's got to be there's a tremendous lead in the direction of progress for them. So somehow we need to get more recognition of, not only because you've got it all. I'm sorry.
Like European representation.
I mean, we hear everything. Yeah, most of Europe is pretty well, certainly France, Spain, etc., and Germany are pretty well.
Italy.
Yes, are very well versed here in U.S., okay, and they're very well promoted. But, I mean, if you ask people, what do you know about Prague, unless they've been there or lived there or have relatives, I'm telling you, they would not know much about it, okay, and would think it's a backward world because of its, because of its unfortunate situation in the early wars. But your restaurant and cooking should be a symbol of today's Prague, because it's so advanced in the architectural construction, which I'm sure has won many awards, and also your food that you're putting out. If they haven't called it's because they just don't have the types of awards that we have maybe in America. I don't know, but I know you would do extremely well in any kind of competition in the U.S. and probably in Europe with regard to the food that you're putting out there.
It's a really beautiful country. Every one of my friends that have visited say how beautiful the country is. Beautiful, this architect. Because it's a very classical city. There's amazing architect in the center.
So
not just the restaurants, just the whole city. Baltimore, Charles Bridge. You got everything here for a holiday.
Yeah. Well, I think, once again, I think we think of the older building, which is nothing wrong with that, because New Orleans preserves its history back 300. We're celebrating our 300 years in May, and we don't have homes all the way back to that, but close to it. We have one home that's back to the 1700s, and I know a lot of your previous architecture was just, beautifully done, just by handcrafted courtesans and all. But now you're blending that with more advanced stuff, like your building looks like a blend of the two, even though it might be all new construction. And
represents the art, like the more modern art.
right, right. And so, are you telling me that you're not the unique situation, the building? Can you tell me that? Is that you? This is just one of many that have magnificent looks as this.
Well, this building is like one of the top 10 like most viewed buildings
Right.
in Prague.
Right.
It's good.
Yeah.
So it's very popular.
But it's not the only building like that, right?
No, it isn't.
Because
You got loads more, but the most visited place I think is the bridge, the handmade the bridge, Charles Bridge, is very popular. It's not a building.
I'm
it's
going
a bridge.
to trouble you or challenge you if you don't mind when you have a few minutes, maybe later today while you're off. I hate to take your whole day, but see if you can maybe send to me some info on either the Tourist Commission or whoever would be involved about trying to generate interest in your great city.
Yeah.
Because especially with New Orleans being one of the capitals of the United States, if not the capital for food nowadays, you know, why not have a place for our New Orleanians to go instead of just hanging here, as well as the rest of the country? Because
everyone from New Orleans, come and check out Prague. You can love it.
That's great. But I'm saying, if you have a chance, see if you can find some either phone number or address, and I will start that. I would like to contact someone there to see if we can start doing a better job of promoting not only your restaurant, but the whole city as more of a tourist destination. Okay?
Okay, I appreciate it.
And a culinary destination. Do you all have any culinary competitions in Prague at all?
Yeah, we do.
Good, good. Well, once again, I don't know what they're called, but we don't hear anything about that. And this is
it's normally held like in its own. A lot of it. It's normally to bring up the younger chef and this sort of thing.
But still, it would be good to first try and broaden the scope to the rest of nearby countries, and then get a more promotion of it, marketing of it, so that the world would take a chance, and they'll have double draw, not only the food but also the architecture. Now they might not all come during the heavy winter, but at the same time, as long as they come, that's the important part.
But it is a more popular city than people actually think. People think, Prague, Czechoslovakia, and but it's actually very, we get a lot of people here from everywhere, from China, from Portugal, from America, everywhere. So many tourists that visit the country.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, because down here in the South, I don't think we know that much about it to lure us there. You follow?
Yeah.
So maybe most of you are from the larger cities or the north are much more familiar with them. But I think it's something that would not hurt to try and exploit or expand, because I think the kind of effort that you and your restaurateurs have developed here is something to be noted, and something for everyone to not only take a look at like we do here, but actually get in there and take a taste of it, because I'm sure that's going to supplement the whole deal, is being able to finally not only look at the aromas and the visuals, but also the taste of some of your work. We only got a few minutes left, so let's go ahead and talk about how people can see more of your work. Why don't you give us, did you give it to Mike? And Mike, are we able to put it up on the screen? If not, we're going to just take it slow and tell the audience. Like if they want the best, what social media is the best one for them to see your dishes? Would it be Instagram?
Instagram. I have a few shout outs I want to say, like after. I have on my mind already what I want. So the main one, like my social media, is Instagram, Chef Onik 83.
Okay.
And me and a few people have started a group on Facebook, Kitchen Story. So go and check Kitchen Story out on Facebook.
Well, let's go ahead and Mike says that your links are in the description on Facebook, so that's good. Let's go ahead and get for our audience, because again, if someone tried to spell my name, it would be disastrous. So what I'm going to do is we're going to take our time and spell both of your names, because I think if they do, whether they do a Google search or Facebook search, certainly that can be the first step to finding your information. And your first name pronounced Onik, is that correct? Onik?
Onik. Yeah.
Onik, I'm sorry. And that's spelled O-N-I-K. Very short and simple.
Yeah.
Onik. And then the last name is Minasian. And that's
Minasian.
Minasian. Now, if you wanted to read it like you were reading it, even though it's not the proper, it would be Min, M-I-N, Asian,
Yeah.
A-S-I-A-N,
Asian, yeah.
and Minasian. So O-N-I-K, M-I-N-A-S-I-A-N. So
Yeah.
you get that far. If you can write that down or memorize that, that'll be your trigger.
Yeah.
You'll be able to see, remember, our shows are on our website. They repeat during the week, several. There's no schedule. It's a random schedule for the repetition on the station. But you can see them in YouTube or Facebook anytime by just looking at the date and remembering our show, Talk to Bob's Variety Hour. So if you check that out in the date and his name, you can rebroadcast this show. And if you'll send to me a request, if you're interested, I told Chef that I will be sending him the link directly to the show after the show today, so that he can use it to spread his word of his restaurant and his food to anyone that he shares with his followers, friends, or as he makes acquaintances. And we will do so as well on our social media, so that way, if you've missed the morning show, which I understand because you might be at work locally here, whatever,
Okay.
you can watch it at another time, and that way, hopefully, you'll spread the word, because we're getting more and more recognition for our international chefs, which I thought would take off somewhat more than the USA chefs. Our USA chefs are all anxious to be on, but I'm getting more feedback from the audience about our international chefs. So this is working very well for both you all getting a little exposure to USA and us getting familiar with chefs beyond our little local region here. So,
And I have one more thing I would like to mention now.
Please.
Social media.
Please.
My good friend Brett White and I just started an Instagram page called _cooks. It's like to bring support for the underdogs in the community. So go and check that out on Instagram, _cooks as well.
Well, how'd y'all pick that underdog? Why underdog?
Because you got a lot of chefs that don't get recognition because they're like the underdogs.
Yeah.
So we want to promote these sort of chefs.
No, that's what I'm all about. I call, but not only that, I do a lot of the ethnic chefs who don't get exposure. I call those the invisible chefs, from female chefs to African American, Asian, Native American, etc., to try and get broader exposure rather than just strictly our white Caucasians who have led the field in so many years. So, but we like to call them emerging chefs or, empowered chefs, something like that. Underdog is definitely the word for it. We try and glamorize our words a little bit to make it a little bit more appealing than say underdog. Even though it has all the gut and the grit, of what you're trying to do. So that's great. Yeah, well, please pass along to any of your chef friends elsewhere in your city or wherever in Europe or that you have about the show. We'll happily get in touch with them and see if we can bring them on.
Yeah, well, I know a few of them are tuning in at the moment. A few of my guys are tuning in at the moment.
Well, that's very sweet of them, and also to be able to watch it, especially live. So that helps us in a rating in the international market as well. So we really appreciate that. Okay, Chef, one last farewell to everyone, and then I'm going to tell the people about next week's show. Okay.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. It was a pleasure. It took a very long time to get on the show, obviously busy schedule and that, but I'm very thankful that Bob contacted me, was persistent, contacted me over and over, and we made it happen. So, thank you guys.
I can certainly be a pest, but at this time I think for the benefit of the audience. So thank you again, Chef. Keep up your work. We'll be in touch. And to our audience, remember next week
and big shout out to Mike as well. Mike, thank you.
He always does a great job with little recognition, so I know he appreciates that. Thank you very much on that. Okay, folks, remember next week is the Know Your Nonprofit. We've got the Heart of Hospice, which is a local hospice with remarkable services for those England and all have been far advanced over the years, way before us in the hospice. It's just been in America in about 15 years. So we want to bring a local to tell you the services. So watch for us for next Wednesday. Thanks again, Chef. Thanks again, audience. See you soon.
Thank you.
Our listeners are as important as our guests. Join in on the conversation. 504-341-8255. The New